If you're struggling to understand the type of bank accounts there are out there, don't worry, I got you. I've been there, done that. Let me break it down for you in a way that you understand. Right here, we have the 5 most common types of accounts that most people would have and some people might not, and that's okay. So first we have the debit. If you open a debit account with any bank, they will have a checking option and a savings option. Then you'll have a high yield savings account, and this is usually with an online bank, so not from a traditional in-person bank. Then we have credit cards. This is what you open when you, turn 18, depending on which province you're in. And we're in Canada, so TFSA, RSP, FHSA, which I'll explain in another video. If you have a checking account, which most people do, this is basically your main account where all the money goes in from your paycheck. Usually, banks allow money to go in and out of checkings account without many fees. The purpose of a savings account, if you open a savings account along with your checkings account with a traditional bank, is probably for bills because you don't want to keep your money in there when the interest rate is really low for the savings account. Next, a high yield savings account. So this savings account is usually the interest rate is way higher than this savings account. Say a traditional bank in Canada, around 0.01% of interest per year. High yield savings account around 3.5% per year. So high yield savings account's interest is way bigger than the savings account in a traditional debit account. And I will put this as my nest egg. So if I'm saving for something big and I just put my emergency fund here, 3 to 6 months of living expenses, I will put it in the high yield savings account. Number 4, credit cards. The purpose is to build your credit. Number 5, TFSA, RSP, FHSA, to build your future wealth. Now, in terms of interest rates, debit checking account, there's no interest rate. You just get your money deposited in there from your paychecks and it just kind of sits there unless you use it to pay bills. Debit savings, yeah, there's some interest, 0.01% as I say, usually, or lower than that. And that's why I would just pay bills with that. High yield savings account is a nest egg, so it will be pretty high, so usually 3.5% or higher, depending on which online bank you use. Credit card, the interest is very high, so this is something we're going to talk about. This can be confusing, but let me break it down for you. And last but not least, this one, it depends. Is the interest rate of these accounts good or bad? Checkings, debit, no interest, so NA. Debit savings, good, but very low. High yield savings, good, decently high. Credit, bad, very high interest, way higher than this. To put it in perspective, credit cards have an interest rate of 21% or higher per year. High yield savings account gives you an interest of 3.50% per year. So that difference is massive. But this is good interest. You get money back. You get that interest paid to you for putting your money in the bank. This is bad interest. If you spend your credit card and you do not pay in full, you will get charged the 21% interest or higher per year. And this high interest is usually how people get into debt. TFSA, RSP, FHSA, you have the option to 1, either open it as a regular traditional high interest savings account, or you can put it into a brokerage account, which you can use that money in these 3 accounts to invest your money in. So the interest is pretty good overall, but if you invest, you might get a high return or lower depending on which stocks or ETFs you invest in. Last question is, when should I open this account or card? For debit and checking, you should already have one of these open. So your first job and your first paycheck. High yield savings account is when you have a savings goal that you've identified for yourself and you can start saving towards that with your nest egg. Credit cards. Yes, you can get one when you're 18, I believe, but it's not good if you get one when you're 18 and spend it like no tomorrow. So I would say when you're financially responsible, that's a perfect time for you to get a credit card. And TFSA RSP, this is when also, similar to the high yield savings account, when you have a savings goal that you want to work towards. So that sums up the 5 most common accounts. Let me know which one you have questions about and want to hear more about. Hope that helps.